As indicated, as I close the evergreen part of these videos, put out some applications, and I don't know if I had out more than one or not. I expect I did. But at any event, I'd contacted the placement office at Greeley, Colorado, University of Northern Colorado, and had put in a letter of application to Sheridan, Wyoming, and it had the office in Greeley send my papers up there. So one evening really at home, got a call wanting to know if I was still interested, that they were interested in me. Yes, I'm interested, and I'm sure my voice relayed excitement that I was interested. And they said, well, we'd like to do interviews, and gave me some parameters on time, and said, check your situation and get back to us, and let's tie down a definite time. That was done, and seems to me we flew out really early in the morning. And incidentally, we had arranged for our kids to be in happy situations. I don't know if one was here and one was there, or if they were all in the same place. But I'm sure that Hal and Bobby Morris might have had one or more, or all. The Olsons might have had one or more, or all. Rita might have been with the Kecks. But we didn't have to worry about the kids. They were in good hands. Nice flight up there. Doggone that plane, though, before we landed at Sheridan, did some circling around, and when I got off of that plane, my directions on east and west were just 100% turned around. I knew those mountains that I'm looking at are west of Sheridan, but they looked east to me. Never did get that straightened out, as long as I'd go there. Even later, years later, my direction turned around as soon as I hit Sheridan, Wyoming. Bad thing. We were met, and I'm thinking maybe with the car for us, as well as somebody leading us back into the Sheridan Inn for our accommodations. Oh, what a nice place, and we were treated like visiting royalty. Really nice. The session with the board, the interview went well. We liked the board members. Donna, I don't think, was in on most of the interview, but she was there. They were interviewing a husband and wife, for sure. And particularly good questions from a board chairman, Dr. Ewan. No, I don't know if he was board chairman, but a board member, Dr. Ewan. Seemed to me like Bill Carroll was chairman at that time and continued to be. I was impressed with them. I could tell they were impressed with me, but of course, you know that they could be impressed with you and you might not get the job. Well, then I was turned over, I don't know just when, but I was turned over to Marshall Fletcher, head of buildings and grounds. Liked him immediately, and he took me on a tour of the buildings. Pretty good buildings, quite impressive. But rather as an intent or an accident, he took to all the other buildings first. The oldest building, Taylor, and so on. Senior high last. I guess he even warned me before we went in that what you see here won't be up to the standard of what we've been looking at. And I could tell he wasn't happy about that. Well, I could not believe it. In contrast to the other buildings that were clean and sharp, and you could just almost sense the pride of the faculties in those buildings. Unbelievable contrast in that senior high. And of course, I remembered then that at least one board member, Marion Ladd, in the interview had made it very clear that one of the things that had to happen, and I think others were agreeing with him, but I remember in retrospect that he was the strongest voice, that things had to be changed at the senior high. Well, you just resolve in your mind that if I come here, yes indeed, I will have to do something major to help improve the situation at this senior high school. Now you go back, wind up, thank them. They thank you for coming, and you get back on the plane, go back home, and you're there a few days, you get the call that if you're still interested, we're interested in signing a contract with you. Will you come back up? Of course, of course. And that was done. And as part of that discussion with the school board, came up the fact that the assistant superintendent, who had also been a candidate for the superintendency, had chosen, since he wasn't selected, to move on to another position. And out of that came the opportunity to recommend Mr. Finch as an assistant superintendent, and that went through. In that interview, though, again, considerable talk about, we know you'll have a hassle, it'll be a problem to deal with Mr. Cooper, principal at the senior high. He has lots of drinking friends and a strong support system. Okay, I can handle that, or I can deal with that. You know, I didn't intimidate me. I think that's what they were checking. If it was going to scare me, it's the time to say, I don't want to sign that contract. So signed the contract. Oh, and they also said, we have been informed that next year will be adversarial negotiations for salaries. And we've never had anything like that. Don't really know what it's all about, but we know from Dr. Ewan being associated with the National School Boards Association that it's been very unpleasant in some communities. And if you don't mind, we'd like to send you to the NEA salary school to learn as much as you can about that situation. Don't mind at all. So with that, back to wind up things at Evergreen. Incidentally, Donna had lost weight during that last year or so at Evergreen, and I was so proud of the impression she made on everybody, including me, in that interview process. And we both were very impressed with the beauty of Sheridan, nestled there against the Little Bighorn Mountains. No wonder they called it the garden spot of Wyoming.